All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. A very, very famous Hollywood screenwriter has come out and basically slammed Hollywood's DEI initiatives as Hollywood totalitarianism, fascist totalitarianism, absolutely destroyed it. Yeah, we are seeing this more and more now, and I think people are becoming more and more disenfranchised with it all. They realise that sort of this ideological push overtakes art as well. Obviously, very clearly it does. And you do end up with mediocre stories and mediocre performances from actors as well. Not only that as well, and one thing I've said time and time again, and I stand by it, don't give me diversity through casting. I don't care that you've got a gay, black, trans, lesbian in everything, right? This is boring to me. Give me diversity through programming, right? One of the great things on TV at the moment, which its final episode has just aired, is Shogun, a feudal Japan series, right? It's based on novels, which is based on real life events. But that's not diverse in any way, shape or form. But it is diverse, right? It is actually diverse because we're getting diversity through programming. Give me a story set in Africa, for goodness sake. Give me myths and legends from across the world. Don't give me this homogenous mess where you have to fit a quota. It's boring, it's stifling, and as this Hollywood screenwriter states, it is fascist totalitarianism. So let's dive into it today. Hit subscribe if you're new here, and let's take a look, shall we? So screenwriter David Mamet bashes Hollywood's DEI initiatives. It's fascist totalitarianism. And again, this guy's a bit of a legend, to be perfectly honest. So him coming out and doing this is a pretty big deal. So David Mamet, the creator of The Unit, bashed Hollywood's DEI initiatives, which are now subject to an Equal Employment Opportunity Commission complaint as fascist totalitarianism. It's creative bankruptcy as well. I will also, just as an FYI, give a shout out to Culture Casino, another YouTuber. Do go and check him out. You can find him just by Culture Casino, who gave me the heads up on this topic. So while promoting his upcoming memoir, Everything and Oink Oink, an embittered, dyspeptic and accurate report of 40 years in Hollywood at the Los Angeles Times Festival of Books, Mamet specifically took issue with the new diversity rules that the Oscars announced back in 2020, which they have actually announced even further, but go into effect this year, and says the rules require film. So just as an FYI, expect it to get worse because it comes into effect this year. You thought it was bad before. Fucking, we're not seeing anything yet, guys. It's gonna get worse. Creative bankruptcy, you thought you knew it? Nah, it's gonna get worse. The rules require films to enforce quotas based on race, sex, sexual identity, or disability in order to be eligible to be nominated, let alone win an award. How pathetic. How utterly pathetic and arbitrary. Anyway, as reported by Los Angeles Times, Mamet decried, "I can't give you a stupid effing statue unless you are 7% of this, 8% of that. It's intrusive." And it is. It says this: the film industry has little business improving everybody's racial understanding, as does the fire department. DEI is garbage. And it is garbage. Right, it is garbage. I recently did a video, it may have fallen by the wayside to a lot of people, on the brand new Doctor Who, coming out and just basically being a racist. He said about how white mediocrity is accepted and all of this kind of nonsense. But the thing is when you have DEI initiatives, you actually force through, by virtue of, not looking for the best possible candidate, only within certain immutable characteristics, or a certain quota of a certain amount through these immutable characteristics, you actually enforce black mediocrity, gay mediocrity, all this kind of nonsense crap, right? And so, yeah, I mean, DEI is garbage. It's creative bankruptcy, it's lazy, and it's killing art. It absolutely kills art. So Mamet is no stranger to criticising woke ideology. He hammered feminism in an interview with The Guardian in 2022 while discussing his play The Woods. He says the following: the feminists come in and say, yeah, we're in charge of our own bodies. We don't have to get married to have sex. So the boys, and I was one of them, say, okay, fine by me. But sex is never at no cost to anybody, specifically not at no cost to women, because just as men have a biology necessity to have sex, women have a biological urge, whether they give into it or not, to have babies. So when asked if this is the current state of society, Mehmet declared, "We say that we don't have to get married to have sex. Then we say, actually, we don't have to get married at all. Anybody can have babies." So people are walking around impossibly confused about what is a man, what is a woman, who can have babies, blah, blah, blah. This is a very unhealthy situation. Like most unhealthy situations, it presents itself as a solution, but it is not. And that's true. It does. This sort of feminist ideal does present itself as the solution for women living their lives. And it actually only creates further problems for them. And men as well, just as an FYI. This kind of narrative where both sexes are going at one another all the time. Not in that way. Yeah, it's not good. It's not conducive to a healthy society. It's really bad, actually. Mehmet also criticised communism by noting how Karl Marx lived his life. "I was never ever a communist. All you need to know about communism is that Marx was a sponger. He lived off Engels' family, who had a furniture factory. I would like to conserve those things I grew up with: the love of family, the love of the country, love of service, love of God, love of community. For those who say the Constitution is over 200 years old and can't still be relevant, I say, well, what about the 10 Commandments? What's going to rule in its place? Savagery? Well, it is if you keep letting the third world into every single country." So there you go. I mean, DEI is garbage. Yes, it is. It is absolute trash. Yeah, I really like the fact that this chat, and everyone's reporting on it. You know, this guy's a Pulitzer Prize winner, coming out and saying these things, and provocateur. What? Because he's saying things that other people agree with. It's not really provocateur. Provocateur to the establishment, maybe. You know, and he's done this time and time again. Slams wokeism, praises Shia LaBeouf to Bill Maher. "I've never worked with a greater actor in my life." You know, he's come out and said a lot of stuff across his years. A lot of stuff across his years. You know, I like it. He's good. I like this chap. He's a good chap. I think the stuff that he's saying is bang on the money. Absolutely bang on the money. Wokeism is the worst thing that I've seen in my life. The bright side of wokeism is when you turn on the television and all of the commercials and most of the people in television shows are people of colour. So it's bad for white actors, but on the other hand, it used to be bad for black actors. But the good thing is that white America gets used to looking at black people not as Sidney Poitier, not as Willie Best, but as people, and that's really great. And that's true. Like that, he's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. But there you go. I mean, there's not much else really to say on this. Yeah, DEI is garbage. Yeah, he is completely right about it. What do you guys think? Obviously, you'll agree. But what do you think anyway? It's just great to see more people coming out and saying it. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.